Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics. I don't even know what to call this video. I don't know if this is a fish store tour, an aquarium gallery tour. I do know I made a couple of big mistakes with this video, so I hope you enjoy it. So this is Aquarium Design Group. It is located in the Houston area in Texas, and it is absolutely an outstanding, is it a fish gallery? Is it a fish store? I'll let you decide as we go through this video. This is what you see right when you walk in the door. I don't know exactly what size this aquarium is. I suspect it's probably around 150 to 180 gallon tank. What really stood out here were the rainbows. You look at these rainbow fish and you look at the colors, and they are outstanding. They're not coming through properly on video, but the oranges and the reds and the blues were just such a deep and rich color on these rainbows. By far the best ones I have ever seen. My hope is as we go through this video, you are going to enjoy some of these aquascapes that are in the front area. And then of course, we are going to get to the fish. Don't worry, the fish that were for sale. This is a fish store tour, I suppose. And so we will get to those in a few moments. These were a couple of tanks in the center of the room that were absolutely outstanding. They had some fish that are relatively rare. One I hadn't seen before, and one I've seen before is definitely on my bucket list. I had them for a very short period of time, but they didn't survive well in our water. But this one is really cool. This is the African fire barb. They're in here with some pearl gouramis, and it's an absolutely wonderful tank to look at. Obviously, the aquascape is very, very well done, but these fish were an excellent choice for this scape. Now, I did mention I made a couple of mistakes with this video. First mistake I made is I did not bring my camera, and so everything you're seeing here was shot with my phone, and I left my camera behind at the hotel, not realizing what we were about to walk into, and so I really wish I would have had my camera. The shots would have been a lot nicer. The second issue I had, the second problem, the second mistake that I made is I actually talked with the owner, Jeff, for probably an hour. And he was a very interesting person to talk to, had a lot of interesting ideas about the aquarium hobby. He talked about why this store is the way it is, why his company is the way it is. I have a hard time calling it a fish store because it's just not. When you see these aquascapes, when you walk in, it's nothing like a typical fish store. And I got absolutely none of our conversation on video, and I think it's one of those things where if I ever go back, we're going to have to sit down and have a conversation and talk more about why he made the store the way he did and how he views the aquarium hobby, because it's fairly interesting. The other thing I really appreciated about this location was after having just gone through Aquashella and seeing all the tanks there, and then being able to come here and look at these very high-end, professionally done aquascapes, it's something that can inspire. And that was, I think, one of the things that Joanna and I, as we walk through Aquarium Design Group, it's a very inspiring place, especially in the lobby area, where you really get to see what a high-end aquascape can look like. There was also an incredible variety of tanks to look at. I've shown you some of the more high-end aquascape tanks with lots of plants, running CO2, but here we've got some that are a little bit less involved. Still absolutely wonderful and still very eye-catching, but maybe not, you don't have the heavily planted tanks. This is a Lake Tanganyika setup where we just have the rocks and the sand, the substrate. But they're still so amazing to look at. I really like this tank because it had some of my favorite fish. You can see the Tanganyika and the Ornatus, the brevis. By the way, we've done a ton of species profiles on the fish that some of the fish you've already seen, as well as some of the fish you're about to see in the fish store part of this location. So Check out the description below if you want more information on some of the fish that you're seeing here, how to care for them, especially as we get into the geophagus later on, and some of those other more rare types of fish and cichlids. This was a great tank here. Again, very natural, no plants, but it just goes to show you that you don't have to be someone who keeps a lot of plants to have a nice looking fish tank. So as we travel into the actual fish store part, you got some geophagus here. The Cerenamensis are absolutely fantastic. And these were larger fish. These were not the typical small geophagus or hecali that you would see at most pet stores. These fish were anywhere from 4 to 6 inches or so. So these were already showing a lot of nice color. Obviously here the Ultrafrons have a little bit of growing out with their finnage, but for the most part, these fish were basically ready to go. You've got some electric blue Acara here. The first shot I showed you was some electric blue Rams. Here we've got the Geophagus Tapajos. By the way, again, we've done a lot of species profiles on the Severums, the Tapajos. Check out that description if you want to learn how to care for these fish and their optimal water conditions. I love that blue Phantom Pleco down there on the lower left-hand side, but they have a lot of the more common fish, the bettas you can see here. A lot of nano fish. Some fish that are not quite as common. Here is I believe that's the lamp iras boar, at least that's what it looks like. This is the Apistogramma McMasteri, really interesting Apistogramma. So they have the larger cichlids, they have African cichlids, which you're about to see. Here's a rope fish. There was a lot of variety, and as you can see throughout the fish store, they didn't know we were coming, so this is basically the way their tanks look. So, and I like that when we just kind of walk in and the tanks look clean, the fish look healthy, they're doing well, they're swimming around, they're showing nice color. That's definitely something we look for as we consider whether or not we're going to film a store. Here you've got a variety of just dragon blood cichlids, but again, nice color, good looking fish. Love the cardinal tetras. These were on the larger side, so again, when a lot of times you see the cardinal tetras on the smaller side, orange laser cory cats, they're definitely in my top 5 of cory cats. Love these threadfin rainbows. We've had these in the fish room before. Really awesome fish. The clown loaches were a decent size, and you're going to see some rainbows throughout as well. They had a lot of nice looking rainbow fish, a lot of variety. Again, relatively large size. They were starting to show some color already. In some ways, when you get those smaller rainbows, it takes a while for them to start showing color. Here, they were already starting to do that. Got some really cool roseline sharks here. These fish here were also shown in the beginning in one of the aquascape tanks, at least the genus was. So if you're wondering what those fish were at the beginning that kind of look like trout, here they are again. And I forgot to mention that in the beginning. So that was Aquarium Design Group. Would love to hear from you. What was your favorite tank? Again, check out the description below if you want to see the species profiles. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.